Hey guys, Joshua here with This Is Something, and today I'm bringing you another great episode of This is Swordplay. Hey guys, welcome back to This is Swordplay, and today, for our comeback, we thought we'd go big. Real big. This is the Cold Steel Man-at-Arms Sergeant's Halberd, and you can get this from coldsteel.com, that's right along the bottom here. You can get it on amazon.com, you can get it on Call Athena, you can get it at Atlanta Cutlery. There's a lot of places you can buy this, and they run about $110. I'm not going to get too much into the size, just because the shaft, it's a 6-foot shaft, but you can kind of cut this down to the size you want it to be. It does boast an 11.5-inch spearhead, which is really good, but we'll get back to that in just a moment. Let's kind of start with the negatives and then get to the positives, because there are some complaints I have about this halberd. One, the shaft isn't tapered already. You have to taper it yourself to get it to fit into the socket. And this is a complaint a lot of people who have bought these halberds have. You know, they thought they were going to get just a tapered staff and a head, and they could just put it together right away. And what they ended up having to do is plane it down or grind it down or whatever, get that wood to taper a little bit. So that is a complaint. But I think perhaps a bigger complaint for me anyway is that there's a metal bar about here. All right, and you can see that the socket extends up the shaft, so the staff should extend into all the way into the socket, and it doesn't. It stops about here. There's this metal bar in the middle that kind of stops it. I'm not really sure why they did that. I don't know if that was to kind of strengthen strengthen the overall design. Although I would. For me personally anyway, having that wood all the way up should make it strong enough. It is a complaint for me. I would like to have that shaft all the way up into the socket. So finally, I wasn't real happy with the craftsmanship where the screw holes go in. So what you'll have are 2 screw holes right here. All right, and mine didn't line up. My 2 screw holes didn't line up. They were actually kind of offset on each other, which would have been fine, except that I couldn't put 2 screws in because the 2 screws would hit each other and they wouldn't be able to go in all the way. So what I ended up doing was going to our local hardware store, buying a better screw, drilling a hole. I put 2-part epoxy in, and then I put the screw in. I also just kind of reinforced a little bit and give it a little decoration. Added this leather wrap to the in between the socket and shaft, and then of course add this decorative flash. So those are a couple complaints. I don't think this is Cold Steel's finest craftsmanship when it comes to putting together a decent weapon. But let's talk about some positives. One, I think this is a really attractive halberd, and that is primarily the reason I bought it, as opposed to their Swiss halberd or their bill hook. I just thought this one looked really attractive. It really appealed to me. The aesthetics of it really appealed to me. Also, just the fact you can do what you want with it. You can add some leather wrap, or you can add some a tassel or some kind of flag or flash or pennant. You can stain the wood. I put a Jacobian stain on this, and it's starting to fade a little bit, so it has a little kind of an antique look, and that really appeals to me. I actually really like being able to put together something that was somewhat unique looking. It does have that generous tip that I mentioned earlier, and this is important because we need to remember something about halberds. Swords are secondary weapons. They were the pistols of their time, but the halberd and pole arms, they were the rifles. They were the standard weapon of the battlefield. These were the knight killers, the samurai killers, if you're talking about Naginata. Pole arms were the main battle weapon. And so you would stand in lines, battle lines, and hundreds of halberds in a battle line. And the problem with that is you can't really get good chopping motion when you have guys on both sides of you. So you're doing a lot of spear maneuvers, and that's really important because we do have this really nice spear tip. So we can spear really well and get what we need. As far as a chopper, we're going to take it out here in just a little bit. We're going to chop with it. I kind of think that it's not going to be the best chopper, mostly just because of this recurved blade. And this hook is a hook. It's not a straight spike that you can spike into something. You kind of have to hook to get it to stick in things. So we're gonna test it. We're gonna take it out. We're gonna test it out, and let's see how it does. Alright, so there you have it. You could see that, as I kind of predicted earlier, with that recurved head and that spike, just the way they're designed, they aren't the best spike tool, and it's not really the best chopping tool. Now, if it comes up against something like flesh or armor, it's going to, be percussive. It's going to do damage, don't get me wrong. It's just not going to be the best cutter. And you can kind of see that against like the milk jugs. It kind of just exploded them as opposed to cutting them. It does deal percussive damage. The spearhead, obviously, I didn't even need to put any force into thrusting with it. But we went ahead and we took it up a notch. We brought that cinder block out, and it cut right through it. And I will say this about the Halberd, because I did have some kind of negative points in the beginning of the episode. This is a cold steel product. They are the strongest, sharpest. This is 1055 carbon steel, and this did no damage. That cinder block did no damage to the blade whatsoever. It busted up. It didn't bust up the blade. It scratched up the bluing. This is a blued steel, and you can see right here where it scratched up the bluing. But otherwise, it's still incredibly solid. Even with that single screw, it's actually sitting on there really well. There's no blade damage. There was no nicks. There was nothing on the blade. So, if I have something really nice to say about cold steel, it's always that they do boast the strongest swords, knives, axe heads, and cutting that cinder block was a testament to that. So there you go, guys. Keep a lookout in the future for future sword plays, and I'll see you next time. We hope you liked today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment because we enjoy chatting with you.
Also, check us out on Instagram and Facebook at This Is Something. All the links are below. Thanks, and have a beautiful day.